Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today I brought with me both of the Melody Beatty positive affirmation books, The Language of Letting Go and Journey to the Heart. I haven't looked at them in a couple days, so I'm going to see what the meditations say for today, which is March 7th. But then I'm going to look at the last couple days as well and pick which one I want to read for today to get us started on a good weekend. So let's look in the Language of Letting Go first for March 7th. Let's see what it says today. March 7th. I went right past it. Oh, it's very, very short. March 7th, fulfillment. It's literally like one little paragraph right here. Okay, let's see what yesterday's and the day before were. March 6th, peace. Ooh, that might be a good one. March 5th, be who you are. I'm liking all of these. And I think that was where I stopped before. Okay, let's look at Journey to the Heart. March 7th. March 7th. I was shaking my head because I was like, I can't believe we're already in March. Redefine service. March 6th, let your sexuality be connected to your heart. March 5th, operate from desire, not will. One step at a time for March 4th. You know what? Let's read Be Who You Are and Peace. So this is the March 5th and March 6th meditations for the Language of Letting Go. March 5th, be who you are. And this is from Anonymous, it says, when I meet people or get in a new relationship, I start putting all these repressive restrictions on myself. I can't have my feelings, can't have my wants and needs, can't have my history, can't do the things I want, feel the feelings I'm feeling, or say what I need to say. I turn into this repressed perfectionist robot instead of being who I am, me. Sometimes our instinctive reaction to being in a new situation is, don't be yourself. Who else can we be? Who else would you want to be? We don't need to be anyone else. The greatest gift we can bring to any relationship wherever we go is being who we are. We may think others won't like us. We may be afraid that if we just relax and be ourselves, the other person will go away or shame us. We may worry about what the other person will think. But when we relax and accept ourselves, people often feel much better being around us than when we are rigid and repressed. We're fun to be around. If others don't appreciate us, do we really want to be around them? Do we need to let the opinions of others control us into our behavior? Giving ourselves permission to be who we are can have a healing influence on our relationships. The tone relaxes, we relax, the other person relaxes. That everybody feels a little less shame because they have learned the truth. Who we are is all we can be. All we're meant to be, and it's enough. It's fine. Our opinion of ourselves is truly all that matters. And we can give ourselves all the approval we want and need. Today, I will relax and be who I am in my relationships. I will do this not in a demeaning or inappropriate way, but in a way that shows I accept myself and value who I am. Help me, God, let go of my fears about being myself. I love this meditation. It's such a thought-provoking meditation. I think it's a meditation for people that are on the other side of healing. I know this to be true today. I know it to be true that I am enough, who I am. I know it to be true that I don't need to mute myself or dull myself down for other people, whether that be in friendships, romantic relationships, working relationships, family. That who I am and who I am is enough. I know that. And I think that that is why my circle is so small, because I want to be able to be 100% who I am and comfortable to be who I am at any given time. That being said, I have done trauma narratives on bullying. I have worked through major issues with my sponsors in recovery through the years. I have done a lot of therapy on this. And I don't know that when you're in it, or even a little bit after, but you haven't started healing on it, that these words really resonate a whole lot, in all honesty. You know, when I'm reading these things, it's interesting where my mind goes with it, because it says, sometimes our instinctive reaction to being in a new situation is, don't be yourself. That was my instinctive reaction for years and years and years, because when I was myself growing up, and I think of myself like any moment where I would like laugh at something, or, you know, be a little bit effeminate or dance a little bit or whatever. Those were the moments when I did sink in to being myself. those were the moments that people noticed I was different. Those were the moments that people made fun of me for. So what I learned over time was you can't be yourself, because if you are truly yourself, not my parents were, and my family were highly supportive of me being my true authentic self even as a kid. But outside of that was where I didn't feel like I could be myself. You know, it's interesting because I share a lot of stories about my neighborhood and walking on the street with my two girlfriends. And when I was like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, my street accepted. I wonder back in, retrospect, like how many of the neighbors were telling their kids, like, yes, we know Peter's a little bit different, but like we love Peter and we're going to accept him, because nobody on the street ever treated me that differently. I mean, there were a few occasions, but not really. And I look back and I just was able, the summer came and I just was chomping my gum and walking up and down the streets. I just felt free, in a way that I didn't feel at school. I didn't feel like I could be myself, and not just at 5 through 10, but much into my adulthood as well. Even after I got sober, I can remember years ago sitting in a meeting, and this guy that I knew from meetings, he was there, and like when I got done talking, I talk a lot with my hands and whatever, and when I got done talking, like after the meeting, he said to me, why do you always talk so, this was just a couple years ago, he said, why do you always talk so much with your hands? And he said something about your voice is so girly. And I mean, I cannot tell you that in that moment, because I just want to be liked, and what I mean is I had not heard that in years going to meetings, and I knew it to be true about myself, but I kind of like, I couldn't care. I didn't care anymore. I couldn't care. I couldn't care anymore. But in that moment, I just retreated into myself. I just didn't even know what to do. It was such a reminder of the past. And so there were years that I didn't know who to be other than not myself, because I thought if I am myself, and coming onto YouTube and like doing my drama channel and stuff and flipping a fan and all that kind of stuff, which is sitting right next to me, I mean, this is not who I am all the time, but this is part of who I am. The fan is not who I am all the time, but that bit of like dancing around, singing songs, I mean, that is who I am in the house. That is who I am with my friends. There's also very serious moments about me where I'm having very serious conversations. I think who I really am is that I have moments that are theatrical and moments that are very serious, moments that are very still and peaceful, and moments that are very loud. I have to have people in my life that I can show all sides of that too. But I didn't feel that for a very long time. I even doled myself down in dating people because they would say things when I was like, before I got sober, that they didn't like, like you're too loud or this. Like I've shared the story before. I can remember this woman that I worked with, and we were both in graduate school together at the same different programs. And I saw her at the original Cafe Patashu, and when I said, hey, how are you? It was so loud. There was a lot of people. It was like a Saturday. She was there with study groups, and I was there with some friends. I was like, hey, how are you? And I'll never forget. Same age. Okay, we were both at the same time, like late 20s. And she looked over at me and she went like this, like tone it down. And I was like, I just shrunk. Because what that said to me was, I'm not enough. She doesn't like me for who I am. F that. F that. If somebody said it to me today, I would walk over there and probably be louder. I would say, did you just shush me? Oh, girl, you don't shush me across the... No, we're friends. I thought we were friends. You're shushing me? I would not be shushed today. I am not going to be shushed at 52 years old. And neither should you be at whatever age you are. But when I read this meditation, as I was sitting here reading it, there were things that stuck out to me because it says, don't be yourself. Who else can we be? Who else would you want to be? We don't need to be anyone else. Well, I can tell you there were many, many years that I wanted to be anybody but myself. That was a huge part of my drinking and my drugging. I wanted to be anybody in the world other than Peter Monn. I didn't want to be me. I didn't like how I felt inside. I didn't like that I felt different than other people. I didn't like that I was made fun of. I didn't like what people said about me. And when I drank and I used drugs, I didn't care. I didn't care. So, of course I wanted to be somebody else. I saw other people that perceivably, and I found out later maybe their circumstances were different, but I thought they have it so much easier, They don't have a mom that's sitting at home drinking. They don't have parents that are divorced, They, I can remember being in school and not wanting to speak up because as soon as I would open my mouth, people would laugh. And it's like, there are other people that just came so naturally to them. So you asked me, who did I want to be? Why would we not want to be ourselves? I wanted to be anybody but myself, The greatest gift we can bring to any relationship wherever we go is being who we are. Well, I know that today. And I know that when I am myself, I'm going to attract the people that are attracted to that. And those are the people that I want in my life. I want people that want me to be myself, that allow me to be myself. I don't want people around me that are going to look at me as, you know what I'm saying? Those are not the people that I want around me. But that also means my circle is pretty small, And it says in here, you know, but when we relax and accept ourselves, people often feel much better around us. I don't know. Sometimes when I started being myself, other people were uncomfortable with that. You know, people didn't really know what to do with that because I had been a muted down version of myself for a very long time, you know? I can remember, like, my friend Tanya and I talking about this, and she's like, when she started setting boundaries and standing on her ground on stuff, people would say to her, why are you being like this? Why are you being, they would call her the B word. And she'd say, oh, because now that I'm setting a boundary, I'm that word. Because I took your crap for years and years. But now that I'm setting a boundary, and that's so true of my life too. It's like when I started setting boundaries, it's like people didn't know what to do with that. They wanted to put me in a box up on a shelf, and that's where they wanted me. They didn't want me to have a voice. They didn't want me to act theatrical. They wanted me to be how they wanted me to be. Well, I'm not here for anybody else's enjoyment. I'm here for me, you know? And that's something that, I mean, I'm here on video for people's enjoyment, but I'm talking about in life. And so that took me a lot of work to get through. You know, and I have a lot of friends of mine, a lot of, you know, people that I know from meetings, just people in life, that my story is that in school, I had people that made fun of me, you know, or in gas stations or on the street or whatever, right? But I have friends of mine who, and I'm sure many of you relate to this, their own parents or siblings, mostly mothers, would say things. I mean, I've joked about how my mom, I would come down from school and she'd be like, your hair, I colored my hair really black the night before, and she would say, you're not going to school like that, are you? But that was like a 1 or 2 time occasion. I have friends of mine that, you know, their mothers were so harsh to them. You'll never get a husband or a partner looking that way. Or if you act that way or you do this, or if you go to school for that, you'll never get a job. You're too stupid to do that. I mean, you're not pretty enough to do that. You know, like, I mean, I have had friends of mine that were so verbally abused and criticized by people that should have loved them unconditionally, that why would they ever want to be themselves? You know, it's the unworking of all of that. And then you unwork all that and you work through it and you still have these triggers that you hear years later. And then it's like you wake up one day and you're 52 years old and you're like, and now I've just got a little bit of time left to enjoy it. I better enjoy it now. So today, yes, I relate to her meditation. I'm going to be who I am. Today, I don't have any other choice. And if people don't like it, then people can get lost. And the people that like it, then I'm glad that they're enjoying it. And I enjoy them as well, you know? And that's where I'm at with it today. But it took me a long time to get there. There was many years that I couldn't be myself, that I didn't feel comfortable being myself at all, you know? This was a good meditation to remind me it's a journey that we're on. You know, it's like all this stuff happens to us, and then it's the unworking of all this stuff that happens, and then it's the enjoyment after the unworking of it. And thankfully, I'm just starting to be at that point where I can enjoy stuff, you know? You know, flip your fans. Dance out loud. The people that love you, love you. The people that don't. I don't want people in my life today that I have to dull myself down for. I just don't. Life is too short. I don't want to be somebody else for somebody else's approval. It's not worth it to me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.